Now, if you've been following the news about Ebola, you've likely heard of Ashoka Mukpo. The American journalist contracted the virus in Liberia, where he was working as a freelance cameraman for NBC News, and he has since recovered. But what you might not know about Mukpo is that he has close ties with Tibet. Well, we've got someone from VOA's Tibetan service with us now. Yeshi Dorje joins me on set. Yeshi, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Mukpo has quite the interesting history. Tell us about his connections with Tibet.
Yes, definitely interesting story. I kind of, when I was learning about his life, I thought would take a best fiction writer to create a character, with a background like him. But his connection to Tibet is, first of all, his stepfather was a famous Tibetan lama. In the West, he was one of the lamas who brought Tibet Buddhism to West. And then when he was 8 months old, he was recognized as a reincarnation of Tibetan lama who died in Tibet a long time ago. And he was recognized by a famous previous Karmapa Lama, who's usually considered the third highest Lama in Tibet. So, that's the connection for him is definitely both religious and also to some extent culturally, because, as you know, he has two fathers and, so on. So there's a lot of cultural, I think, influence from Tibet.
Of course, and you had the chance to interview him. Now he is recovered from Ebola. You had a chance to interview him now that he is doing well. And you talked to him about his ties with Tibet and about this responsibility he feels. I want to go ahead now. Let's roll the clip and then let's talk about it. So let's go ahead and roll that.
I feel a responsibility to carry on the tradition of Dharma and to carry on the tradition of Tantra. And I feel a deep connection.
All right, so very interesting that he says he feels this responsibility to uphold Tibetan values. Tell us what struck you when you were speaking to him.
Yeah, he says, he feels very close connection and feels responsibility. But at the same time, he, although he's recognized as a true reincarnated Lama, he feels that every individual has his own karma, and he doesn't feel that he has to be taking a leadership in the traditional way of reincarnated Lama. He wants to do his own and that's suitable to the way in American life. So when looking at what he's been doing in Liberia, and you can tell that he does want to help others in like Buddhist practices. He's actually doing it, but he doesn't feel that he has to be a lama and sitting on a throne and things like that.
Of course. Now, in terms of his health, how is he doing?
He's doing much better now. He's free of a virus, but he's in recovery. He said he has to rest, and he's very amazing. He looked at a positive side of when he was sick, in sort of Buddhist way. He didn't concentrate on the suffering, but he looked at positive side, how lucky he was that he has access to what he calls the best healthcare system in the world, and best hospital, of course. So he's very appreciative, and he's excited. He's very happy to be alive.
Well, we are very happy that you were able to get this interview with him, and you have followed his story extensively, including his Tibetan connection. So thank you for bringing that little reported aspect of his life to us today. Again, Yeshi Dorje is with VOA's Tibetan service.